Hey everybody, welcome to the Darksliders podcast with Doug and Brad.
Hi.
So this week we're going to jump right into this here. We played a few different games this week, all smaller indie games now that I'm looking at this, which,
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that. Doug, you started playing, and this game just came out this week, and I'm really excited to try it, but I don't feel like I want to pay $20 for it. And that's Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
Gone to the Rapture.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So are you going to talk about that, or...
Yeah, no, that's fine. They're gonna lean into an intro or something. I'll talk about it. So yeah, I actually pre-ordered Everybody Gone to the Rapture. So I paid $15 for it, which is definitely on my line for this sort of game. So this game I've been following for a long time. The guys who did this did a Half-Life 2 mod called Dear Esther. Then they did a full release of Dear Esther in which they completely revamped all the graphics. Then they did Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs, and now this is their fourth game. This game is nothing like I feel like there's like some young viewers who are like, oh, I like the Amnesia: Machine for Pigs. I should pick this up. This is not Amnesia by any
That was
way,
like
shape, or
one of
form.
those weird horror games, right?
Yeah. I guess the best way to start this, if you think you're going to like this game from what you've read, you're going to love it. If you're thinking that maybe this game is not the type of game for you, this is clearly not the game for you, and you should not pick it up at all. If you look at reviews, like they're really split between 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, best game ever, and 6 out of 10, what the hell is this boring piece of crap.
Yeah, that's why I haven't. That's been my hesitation to pick this up, is because everything about it sounds interesting to me, but literally it's 50-50 like that. Like, this is either the greatest game or it's the worst thing on earth and nobody understands why it's been made. As
Yeah.
much as I'm curious about it, I don't know if I'm into it enough to be super over the top like that.
I think this is a game with this is one of those games that's I'm not saying it's not a video game because it is, but it's definitely not a video game by like traditional standards. Kind of like The Order is more of like it's a like okay, we in our discussion of The Order we said The Order is a really good R-rated CG film. It's an okay game.
Yeah.
So this one is like a really really good, surprisingly a British drama, not a very good game. The thing that surprised me the most about so Everybody Got the Rapture. If you haven't heard about this game, I'm sure you've heard about this game. You basically the basic gameplay is you walk around an English village, and you pick up audio logs, and that's the whole game. That's it. And if you can buy into that concept of this is just this sort of game, if you can say, "All right, this game's not going to have shooting. This game is going to have a setting you're either going to like or not like." To me, I thought it was a really interesting setting because I've been to England like once, and I've seen this countryside area maybe once or twice. So it's still sort of like a unique area. I imagine if you lived in England, this game would be boring as shit.
Because it's like walking through your neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly. So you basically walk around and you can pick up like literal audio logs where it's just like there's a radio, you press X, and all of a sudden the radio says something. Or the actual really cool aspect of this game is you find these sort of balls of light, and when you touch these balls of light, what happens is sort of like a radio play where it's two people talking, but there's sort of like these ghost images of them. So like let's say you walk into a house. This is a really minor spoiler. So everybody's disappeared from this town, and for whatever reason, there's some sort of epidemic that went through the town, and it causes people to have bloody noses. So you'll find like a pile of bloody rags, and then you'll like touch the ball of light, and all of a sudden you'll like hear somebody who's like now standing there where those bloody rags are, saying like, "Oh God, I have this headache. I need help," and they're talking with somebody. It's kind of interesting because it's basically like little short, like I was saying, like little short radio plays where it's usually two people talking back and forth in these sort of ghost-like shapes, and some of them are really, really, really interesting. This game has by far the best voice acting I've ever heard in a game ever, like bar none. There is no game with better voice acting than this one, and they got really, really good actors to do the voice work of these characters. The first character, like each chapter is named after a character in the village. So the first one is called like I can't remember his father something. It's a priest in the town, and basically you're following the priest through this town as he's dealing with the different people in the town. And some people are like really afraid of this new epidemic. There's some like internal conflicts that have been going on in the village for a really really long time that are now like becoming worse because of this epidemic. There's certain people like cheating on each other, but what happens when this couple's cheating on each other, and now there's like this horrible thing that's going on. So it's a game. I don't know if that sounds interesting to you. You should absolutely pick it up. If like what I just said sounds interesting to you, pick it up like immediately. It's just a really, really unique experience, and it's actually really moving. I was like literally in tears for one of the sections, and I don't want to ruin it. It's actually near the beginning, but for one of the radio plays, like the voice acting and what happens is so freaking intense. It's really kind of interesting because it's just two people talking. It's not like somebody's getting murdered or shot. It's just somebody explaining what's going on. And oh my god, like I was like literally in tears. I don't know. It's a really cool, really moody game, but it is a game where you just walk around and pick up audio logs and watch audio logs, and like that's it.
See, and that's where I'm in this like weird middle ground, because that sounds awesome to me.
Mm-hmm.
If it's compelling enough, and if it's something that I'm really interested in. But it also sounds boring as hell if it's not, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
in my mind, I'm picturing, like, I could have walked through Rapture and Bioshock and just picked up the audio logs and been very, 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 very happy with that game.
Yeah.
But then there's other, more simplified, basic structure games where the setting's not that crazy, the plot isn't that interesting to me, and I could just sit there and if I just had to do that, I'd be done in a second.
Yeah, I think the thing that is kind of weird about this game is the setting, because a game like this that I would normally think it would be like, okay, say Journey or Rapture is another good one with Bioshock, is that it's a really, really unique setting that you've never seen before. And it's like this sort of like this weird alien, almost alien-like world.
But I thought you said it was just like an English countryside.
That's what I'm saying. So it's an English countryside.
But why is that so weird? Like you're comparing to the city under the sea.
It's not weird. That's what I'm saying. It's not weird. So it's like the setting isn't immediately interesting like those other games. So this game like entirely, the setting is kind of interesting, but not as interesting as say something as like Bioshock or Journey. So it entirely relies on its story.
See, and that just requires such a huge buy-in for me that I don't know if I'm, you know what I mean? Like I have to buy into that story so hard to be compelled by this game. I don't know if I'm able to do that.
It's really, really, see, like, I don't know, for $20, it's just like another one of those like experimental games, like, is it worth $20? I don't know if it's worth $20. I was happy at $15 because I was thinking it's like, okay, that's how much I would pay for like 2 movie tickets or something like that. And that was sort of my justification for it. I was like, that was okay. That was like an interesting, unique experience sort of thing. I actually really did love it. I really did love it for the first 2/3. I kind of stopped around where I wasn't played Rocket League because the game is kind of slow. And it's just easy to play something like Rocket League or something in between. So that's one of the problems I actually did have with the game is the first level is kind of in this like town where there's like a bunch of suburbs and stuff. There's a lot of houses close together, so you see a lot of these audio logs and a lot of these things kind of happen at once. But the part I'm in is in more of the countryside, so it's these really wide open areas that are gorgeous to look at, but it just takes a long time to get to the next audio log area, and that's kind of frustrating. Because you have a really slow walking speed, which I know people complain about. There is a run button, but the run button's kind of weird. So it's just very slow paced, and a slow pace is okay if you're in a dense environment.
Yeah.
But the part where I am, and I think I'm pretty near the end of the game, it's just very wide open, so it's just a lot longer to walk to. Actually, it's kind of cool. I was surprised how open and big the game was. It's actually really, really big compared to what I thought this game was going to be. It's just one large area that you just travel through. There's no load screens, no nothing.
Really?
So you just sort of like, so you walk around this suburb, then you walk to a park, through a forest, through this, through that. I don't know. It was pretty good. I would say maybe wait on it for a sale.
See, I'm not even like concerned about like the money thing. It's just like when I sit down with this, am I going to be compelled to play it? Like money, like whatever. I don't care so much about that. It's just regardless, am I going to enjoy my time with this or not? Whether I paid $20 or I paid $10, that doesn't matter. But when I sit down, am I actually going to want to play this, or am I just going to be like, okay, let's go walk across the street and look for a book?
Yeah, I think this is like a game you should definitely play at a friend's house before, if you like it or not, sort of thing. I could just see if you're into like super action heavy games, this is a very slow paced game. And if you're not ready for a slow paced game, and like literally there's one button, use, and that's it. So, good game. I enjoyed it. A lot of people will not enjoy it. If you're okay with just walking around an environment as the game, then you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so on the fence with this game, and I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe I'll bring my PS4 over to you, and then you can play it and see.
Yeah, maybe that's probably a good idea. But moving on here. So this week I spent some time playing one of the PS Plus games for this month, which is Lara Croft. Damn.
Lara Croft.
That one. Yes. Temple of Osiris, which is kind of like the second in this weird spin-off top-down action-y.
Yeah, well, kind of. The thing that's kind of cool about this series is that's actually continued the classic Lara games in tone and stuff.
Yeah, see, and you're way more into Tomb Raider than me, and I am way not into Tomb Raider. Like, literally, I've played Tomb Raider 1 and Tomb Raider Reboot, and then this one.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, like if you play the classic Tomb Raiders, like you're shooting dinosaurs, you're shooting mummies, you're shooting a lot of not people, and then this one is kind of like continuing that. I think you're just in an Egyptian temple and shooting like Egyptian gods or something.
Yeah, mummies and skeletons and the like. But yeah, no, this game is a ton of fun. I don't know, it's one of those kind of almost old school games that just exists to have fun with. Like, it almost feels like a Nintendo game in that sense, where it's like, there's nothing huge, epic, dramatic about this. It's just you're gonna run around and shoot stuff. And the entire game, the whole story revolves around this Egyptian god Osiris, and you have to try and find the different parts of him to put him back together.
Yeah, I watched like the first 10 minutes of that game. I could not understand what the hell was going on in that story. Like, they really jump you, like, put you like right into the story.
Yeah, I really don't know either. I just know that I had to collect the body parts of this god guy because this other god was trying to blow up the earth, and that's really all I got.
Okay.
The game doesn't really care, because it's basically just, you found his knee. Good work. Now let's go to the next tomb and find his face. And then you find his face, and it's like, okay, now boss fight. Now go find his shoulder. And you just go from tomb to tomb to tomb to tomb, just kind of exploring, trying to find this.
Yeah, gotcha. You said it's just like, well, is it a puzzle game? Because I played the first one, and the first one was a puzzle game first, and then a shooting game second.
I don't know. I don't know which one I would... It's definitely got both in it. I feel like it's a bit action-heavy to say that it's just a straight puzzle game. And really, with the exception of one or two puzzles, there weren't any I got stuck on. I was like, oh man, I can't figure this out. It was kind of like those, like, you know, like Uncharted, like, level of difficulty puzzles where it's like, this is here, and I have to kind of pause for a second, but oh, there it is.
Oh, okay. It was weird, too. You played the single player, or you played just by yourself, right?
Yeah, I did. I don't like people.
No, no, but I know that some of the puzzles, from what I understand, this game has 4-player puzzles and 1-player puzzles. So I'm curious if the puzzles like drastically change if you have 4 people playing.
The only thing I could think of is, I mean, they were all obviously doable with one person. There are a couple like put the ball on the switch type puzzles, where it's like you stand on one, you put a ball on the other one, and then boop, the gate opens or whatever. So I could see those maybe being a little bit different, but you know, I don't really know. I didn't play with other people because I like my single player. Other people just get in the way. But that was one thing I was hesitant with this, is because I knew it was kind of based around kind of that 4-player co-op. But in my mind, like looking at it, the way it plays reminds me of 2 games that I used to really like, which was the Gauntlet, I believe it was Gauntlet Dark Legacy for GameCube.
Oh, yeah,
like that game, and then Hunter the Reckoning, which is kind of a smaller franchise. I think there was 2 of them.
That game's kind of like Champions of Norath, like those
like top
Baldur's
down,
Gate.
Yeah. But it kind of reminded me with that, so it's like, well, I liked those games by myself, so maybe I like this one by myself, and I did, and it's a ton of fun. It completely, like you mentioned, ignores the reboot aspect of Tomb Raider, and it's just kind of like the campy, like, I'm running through a tomb, shooting mummies. Oh, there's a giant crocodile. Like, you fight a lot of crocodiles. It's just a very, very fun game. There's nothing serious, nothing overly dramatic, just everything is just straightforward. You get one piece, you go find the next tomb. You get the next piece, you go find the next tomb. And there's a couple other pieces, like there's like challenge tombs that are a little bit harder. I didn't do a whole lot with those. I went through like one of them, and it was towards the beginning, so I don't know if the later ones get a little bit harder, but it's a very straightforward game that's just, if you like kind of those top-down action-y games, it's fantastic.
You should definitely play the first one. The first one was like that. Yeah, are you going to go back and play the first one? Because it's kind of the same game. It's the same series.
Yeah, I probably will. I'll probably wait a while, because it is like, these top-down games do get really, really repetitive, really, really fast.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that I almost would have complained about this game, but it's so short that by the time you're starting to go like, all right, this is getting old. It's like, oh, I only need one more piece. Oh, there's my piece. Okay, final boss battle done. So it doesn't. It almost
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
last long enough to get repetitive, which is why I think maybe going back and playing Guardian of Light, which is the first one, like right after this, and just be like, okay, here we go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Quick question: how is the setting changed? Because the whole thing's set in Egypt, right? I mean,
Yes.
is there like different? Are the levels like pretty clearly different environments, or is it like you're just in Egyptian tombs the whole time?
They're all pretty much Egyptian tombs. There's a couple obvious like differences. Like one's like a watery tomb. One got like a
Yeah.
whole bunch of like gas and fire in it. There's a
Okay.
little bit with the hub world where part of what the final boss, who's kind of always taunting you throughout the game, does is he basically introduces these weather patterns to essentially open up and game mechanics wise these other tombs. So like at one point, like you do something, he's like, oh, well, I'm just gonna flood the whole place, and you're like, great, I'll go in the water tomb now. But as you do that, you unlock the ability to
Oh,
control the weather, which is kind of cool. So like for the first part, it's like it's all night, and then you go through the first tomb, it's like, oh, now I can make it day again, and then all of a sudden, like, okay, the whole thing was all dark, now it's all bright and colorful.
does that matter gameplay wise,
No.
or okay?
It doesn't. I mean, like it changes some of the enemies' abilities. At one point, it turns everything to ice, so of course, like they
Mm,
can freeze you and stuff like that.
yeah,
But for the most part, it doesn't really affect gameplay. But it's kind of one of those cool things that just kind of changes as you go through.
that's pretty cool. I'll probably end up playing that one.
Well, and it's free, so you can't really argue with that. So I really
I guess
liked
that's
it.
true.
I think it's. I mean, it's short. It took me maybe 4 or 5 hours to get through the whole thing.
Hmm.
I think there's like something 7 or 8 tombs. Plus, again, I didn't do any of the challenge tombs. And each level has the hit a certain score objective, get a bonus thing, beat it an X number of time, get a
Mm,
bonus thing. You know, these 1 or 2 things that you can kind of go back through and play to give it a little bit of replayability.
gotcha. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but I would highly recommend checking it out. It's free.
It's not free.
It's free. PS Plus games are free.
Hmm.
Anyway.
Talk about the next PS Plus game.
Yeah, so another free game that you have right now if you have PS Plus. And I finished this. Did you finish it?
I didn't finish it because I really hated one of the albums,
Oh,
and I
yeah, that's
didn't
right.
finish it.
So Sound Shapes was another one. This is a little bit of an older game, but it's on PS3, PS4, and Vita on PS Plus this month as well. What did you play
Hmm.
it on?
I played on PS4.
Okay, cool. I played it on Vita. This is a really cool game. I really liked it.
Yeah.
And it's super unique.
I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this game because of how it's set up. So you play through different worlds or different, they call them albums in this because they each world's theme is like they have a theme of song, a world theme, and then a lot of the artwork is like all themed to that world. And they're based on albums. So the first album is I really really liked, which is sort of this like cutesy. I don't know. There's a lot of smiley faces all over the place.
Yeah, it was just kind of this happy, colorful, like, hey, it
Hmm.
almost looked like Tearaway in terms of color
Oh, I
palette
can
and
see
art
that.
style. Like, just
Hmm.
that very over-the-top, colorful, happy, cheery world.
Yeah, and I really like that one. I thought the song was really cool in that one. The thing I kind of like about this game is like as you sort of go along and you collect items, you sort of build the tunes. Sometimes I wouldn't go to the next screen. I just wait for like the finished tune because the finished tune sounded kind of cool.
Yeah, I had that too, because it's like the last little note that you would collect that would add just a little bit to the song would be right before you go to the next one. So, in order for that note to do anything in terms of the song that's playing throughout it, you have to wait a second.
Mhm.
So to explain that a bit more, because that sounds really weird, when you
Yeah, it
enter
does.
a screen, there's kind of a backing track playing, and as you go through, there might be like 8 different collectibles, and every time you get one, it adds in a layer. So it might be like a snare hit or like a bass beat or something like that as you go through it. So the music will go through, and it's normally like I'd say maybe 5 or 10 second long clip on each screen.
Yeah, yeah.
So you hear it once, kind of basically just bare, and then as you go through, it gets progressively, it builds it as you collect these things, which is a really cool way to integrate the sound and the gameplay, which I've never really seen before.
Yeah, and I also like that I felt like I don't know how they did it, but it felt like a lot of the timing of my jumps. I'm not sure if this is like me just like listening to music and doing it accidentally, but like when you die, like the noise it make when you die was like in the beat. When you jumped, it was in the beat. Like everything is in the beat of the music, and I really really like that. Kind of what I was trying to explain before is like if you like the song and you like that world, you're gonna have a really good time. But because each level and world is so different, you're gonna have some albums you really really like and really really hate. which is actually why I didn't finish the game. So the second world,
It was like a business.
yeah, like corporate America sort of thing. So like you like jump on people who are like typing on desks and filling out paperwork, and then there's like these evil businessmen like burning money. Actually, I really really love that one. You didn't like that one
I
too much,
hated
did you?
that one. That was boring as hell. And I think for me, the issue I had with it, and I think in my mind I would have rearranged these slightly, because I think if you put that one towards the end, like right after the Beck one, which we'll talk about in a second, because that's hands down the coolest one.
Yeah.
I think if you move it towards the end, it makes more sense, because you go from this super bright, happy, cheery world that's super kind of just fun to be in, to like this like social commentary on corporate America and everything's the entire thing is gray and brown. There is not another color on that entire level, and it's just like as I'm playing through it, I'm just bored looking at it.
See, I don't know. I really like that because I was totally bought into that like corporate America thing. Like I don't know. I kind of dug it. The thing I did like, I can understand what you're saying, where it's kind of confusing, where it kind of jumps to that. But I like that because it was something like I just didn't expect from this game at all. I was like, oh okay, because I kind of thought the first level is kind of what you'd expect this game to be, which is that sort of like happy, cheery, jump on things, they make noise and stuff like that. And I was like, oh okay, that's kind of what this game is. And then they show that like weird corporate world with like some kind of dark commentary on computerization of work and things like that. I was like, whoa, what the hell is this? This is kind of cool. I can understand why people wouldn't like that one because it is kind of not. I don't think it was boring, but like the art style is like pretty unchanging throughout the whole thing. The next level I hated, and actually I don't know why. I don't have a good reason for hating this one.
That one's so much fun.
It's called Beyonder, and it's like an alien planet.
Yeah.
With ice on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't get it. I didn't like. You know what it was? I don't think. I just think I didn't like the song. I think that might have all of it was, or like there's something weird with the art. I didn't like it.
The
I
song
can't tell
was
you why.
a little weird on that one. But see, and to me, that's what I wanted this game to be, because that one, again, it's a different art style, but it throws back to the first level where it's that colorful, like I'm just exploring and I'm just kind of playing around with the music and everything in here, and it's fun and carefree, and I liked that. That was when I felt like this game was at its best, when it was just okay. We're just going to make this kind of fun in almost a Loco Rocos type sense, where it's not overly challenging, it's not super serious and intense and trying to have a message. It's just, look at the colorful shapes and they play noise when you hit them. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, all right, I can see that one. Yeah. That one's not as cheery though as the first one. That's like definitely like 1970s barren alien wasteland kind of thing.
Yeah, but the color palette's really vibrant, and I think that works really well. And I think that's why it feels a little bit cheerier than it is.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. I think it was because they just had a mechanic where there's ice blocks you had to wait for to break and unfreeze and stuff, and I just didn't like waiting. I think that might have been all it was. Is after that one the Beck one?
No, the Beck one was the last
Dead Mouse.
One. That was that one, yeah.
Yeah, Dead Mouse was next. That is the worst level. That is.
Oh my gosh,
not
was
a good
that
level.
bad? That was painful.
There's nothing good to say about that one.
I don't, and it's one of those things where it's like I don't even know why it's bad. It just.
Oh, I do.
Why? Nothing appealed to me about that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the art style is that really to me boring 8-bit Space Invaders look.
Yep.
That's kind of like the hipstery, like, oh, this is. Don't you remember video games in the 70s? It's like, okay, we didn't actually play games in the 70s, guys. Like, I mean, some of us did, but like our parents did. But it's like. Yeah, it's like a false nostalgia for like Space Invaders, which sounds really tweaky and hipstery to say anyway. But it's just kind of a boring art style. Like I've seen it before. It's like it's kind of a boring 8-bit style. And on top of it, the music is bad, like really bad. It kind of sounds like somebody was just messing around with the editor. I don't know why it's so bad. It's just really kind of gross sounding snare drums and I don't know.
Yeah, and as you go through, it doesn't feel like the music connects quite as well to each other because every screen, like we talked about, has that separate tune to it. And this one, like, it'd go from really, like, heavy EDM type stuff to just kind of like a cheery bit, and it just, like, was all over the place.
Yeah, that is true, too. Because I think sometimes, like, when you went from, like you were saying, one screen to the other, the sound kind of, like, went into the next song. Like, they would take away a lot of stuff you built, but they left some of that stuff in. So there's that sort of, like, connection. But this one is just, like, every screen just felt like I remember there's one screen, like, the music just stopped entirely. And it wasn't, like, thematically it looked like the world had like been desolate or something like that. It's just like another screen, the music just stopped. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that album is way more difficult than the rest for some reason too. Yeah, there's a lot of weird timing based jumps and just really weird, random stuff in that one that shows up in the other ones, but the other ones are much more just kind of, I'm playing through and enjoying this. This one, there were a couple screens where I was like, okay, I actually have to like really try and concentrate to time this stupid jump right.
Yeah, you know what it was too? There's a lot of parts in that level too where you're like bouncing around sort of randomly.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to like figure out how you're jumping or like how like I don't even know what I screwed up last time. I'm just bouncing around like random because there's a breakout section in it.
Yep.
And that's where you're sort of just like bouncing around randomly and like you can die really easily. So let's stop talking about that one. I want to talk about the last bit. Beck is the final level in that game. Freaking
that was amazing. I don't have anything to say. Like, I don't even have anything to say about it. It was just that level. If you play this game for 10 minutes, just go straight to the Beck one, because I think you can play them in any order. So just go straight there.
Yeah.
And if you like that, then go back and try the rest, because that is so good.
Yeah, that is the best level. Actually, that's kind of disappointing because the first song in that was in the demo that I played a long time ago. So like I inadvertently played the best of sound shapes like the first time I played it.
The city one with the and everything in the clouds. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was, I don't want to talk too much about that because it is just really, really good. It's like the best way to end that game is that level. The worst way to end this game would be like, oh, I don't know, you have like half a level and then you say it's DLC at the end. Good thing they didn't do that exactly.
Yeah, they literally. Yeah, wouldn't it be terrible if a game ended with a tutorial, and then after you finish the tutorial says, "Would you like to buy
it?" Yeah. Oh my god. I don't know why.
Bad.
Yeah, it was really bad too because like, okay, so the final level. This is not a spoiler because you can do these in any order. The final level is you get a car, which does sound ridiculous and dumb and not fun, and it is exactly all those things.
Yeah.
So they show you this really, really weird mechanic of like where you use this car to like go off ramps and stuff, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's not really fun to play. And then they ask you if you want to buy the full pack, so you get like one of 4 levels, I guess. Maybe that's how they did it. Like you get like the first level of the album, and it's just not very good and make me not want to buy the DLC like at all. And that's how the game ends, is on that album.
If you go through and play in order, of course you can go.
Yeah, if you go through and play in order, it's like it looks like the final one. Like you're expecting, like, oh, okay, this is like the new level. It's like, no, this is
we're gonna go over the top. We're gonna add a car, and this is gonna be crazy to end this. And
yeah,
no.
Actually, kind of started me on the DLC because I was thinking about this game because I saw the DLC. I didn't go through it yet to like actually like go on the store and look. But I was thinking, it's like, man, these albums are really, really hit or miss for me. I would really be disappointed if there was an album I bought that I didn't like.
Yeah, this is very much an opinion game. Just because even talking about this, the only ones we really agree on are the first and the first level and the last level. The ones in the middle are in the terrible one. But the other two, I really liked the one you didn't. Yeah. So I think it's very much a personal preference type game, just because they are so starkly different from each other.
I think that's really cool though. I that's like one of those like. That's awesome because it's a game like where like the world, like when you play, I don't know, Mario Worlds, like the worlds really aren't that different. They're kind of different, but they're not like drastically. This game is like probably one of the few platforms I ever played where like the worlds are drastically different.
Yeah.
In like art style, song, themes, like everything. The basic mechanics even the mechanics are sometimes changed around quite a bit. I guess last thing, moving on. How do you feel about the actual jumping mechanics of this game?
They're a little funky, but again, I think when this game was at its best was when it's being more simple. In that, when I think simple platformers, I always go to Loco Roco, and just that very much that just colorful fun, just hey, play this game, relax, have a good time. Yeah. And I think they work fine enough for that, but I think again that those couple more difficult levels, it just really hammers home. Okay, this isn't quite tuned right.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, the jumping feels kind of weird. It feels like sometimes like not deaths aren't unfair, but it's just like. You're really, really heavy. I guess that's the only way to describe it. It's like it's definitely like one of the heavier platforms I ever played. It just feels a little weird. It takes a little while to get used to. But I think once you get it, the game can be pretty fun. But I just felt like there's like a lot of other better platforming mechanics games. Unique enough game. Those games are pretty cool.
Yeah. The last part with this is once you beat the game, it does unlock something called Death Mode, which is like the super hardcore challenge maps. I played these for 10 minutes and was just like, nope, I'm done. This is way too hard. But it's all basically, you have 25 seconds, collect these 40 items, go. And just, I don't do that.
Yeah, some people like that stuff too. Like, I never played those in the Arkham games, but I know it's like a huge part of the Arkham Asylum games. I just never played them, so.
Yeah, I've never been able to get into that stuff, so I tried it for like 10 minutes and it's just, nope, not for me. But that is there. Every single level has one, so there's another 20-ish levels included there if you count those, which is really a ton of content for this. But overall, it's a great game. Very unique. Not necessarily the most greatest platformer, but a very unique one that I don't think you get the same experience with anything else. Alright, so moving on to some news here. Continuing our trend of PS Plus, they announced just this, or not announced, but started just this week with voting for PS Plus games. So the way this works is, and correct me if I'm wrong, every month they're going to pick 3 games to vote in for one of the PS4 games. And you vote for them, and the winning one, that is officially a PS Plus game for the next month. The other 2, I think they said, would go on to like a 50% discount or something, or along those lines, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't really know how I feel about this, but this month the ones are Grown Home, Zombie Vikings, and Armello, I think. Yeah, I'm bad at words.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Just because I feel like it's kind of pointless.
Why? Okay, I wouldn't say that. That was not. Why do you think that's? Why do you think that's pointless?
Because I'm just looking at this, and in my mind, I'm going, it doesn't really matter too much, just because essentially someone else is picking this for me anyway. I have a small say in it, but if this gets 1 million votes, I still don't have that much control over what it's not like, hey, pick your choice, you can get the other 2. You know what I mean?
Oh, this is like your argument of like, should somebody even bother voting in like a general election?
To a point, yeah. Like, there's always that point too, but
that's funny. That's not even something I even considered when I was like having issues with this or things I thought were good or bad.
It's just one of those things where, oh, this is so cool. Like, the best game wins. I don't know. Like, there's people who I feel like would be uninformed who would just click Zombie Vikings because, oh man, Zombie Vikings. You know what I mean? And it just gets into that same like popular election type thing where it's like, really, yes, it's important to vote. Yes, it's important to do all those things. But in the end, I'm not really myself picking it. I'm relying on other people.
Yeah, okay, that's true. That's actually funny. That's not one of the issues I had with this at all. But now that you bring it up, I was like, yeah, I can totally see that. Actually, the issue... Well, the thing that's kind of funny that you said is, like, people wouldn't be informed and say something like Zombie Vikings. Okay, Zombie Vikings... Like, I was of that opinion, too, when I first saw this list. Zombie Vikings is by the guys that stick it to the man.
No, I know, and...
Like, it's a legit cool game.
I would gladly play Zombie Vikings, but just looking at Grown Home and just... I want to play that game really, really bad.
Yeah.
So just that, like, there, I guess, is my thing. And I guess it's not even necessarily uninformed. I don't necessarily know if they're going to get to the point where it's like, okay, you can have Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, you can have Journey, or you can have Knack. And Knack's the big $60 game that everybody's heard of, so that's the one, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that, well, from the games they showed now, they all seem about the same value. So I'm assuming that's what they're always going to do. It's like a game that's like $20, $15, and they're just going to do that every time. So hopefully they keep it kind of like that. Actually, the issue I had with this was kind of like what you're saying. I feel like some games will just never have a chance, even if they're voted on. Like, in this case, Armello. Like, nobody's going to... I mean, there are people going to... Armello, I didn't know what it was before this. Like, I mean, both of us are pretty well informed.
And you're putting it up against a game, Grown Home, that a lot of people want, has been out for a while on PC, is by... Ubisoft.
Yeah, I mean, it's an Ubisoft game.
And then you've got Zombie Vikings, like what you said, that has that already appeal of Stick It to the Man is a really cool game. Here's their next game. Those two have a story behind them and a reason for people to play them. I've never heard of the other game. You've never really heard of it before, so this game doesn't stand a chance against the other two.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like, the game, too, like, from when I looked it up, is actually a board game. It's like, you know, like those board games that you, like those kind of not adult board games, but like those kind of board games that we play occasionally. They're, like, really kind of complex, and you got cards and stuff.
Yeah.
It's one of those, but with, like, 3D characters and stuff, which is kind of neat. But a game like that will just never survive against heavy-hitter games. Like, Grown Home is not a heavy-hitter game by, like, you know, AAA game standards, but it is a Ubisoft game, and people have heard of it. So that one's going to win. So I'm kind of worried that, like, it's just going to be, like you're saying, it's going to be the most popular game wins, like, every time. A lot of the games on PS Plus that I've really liked are ones that I just hadn't heard of before. I was like, oh, what the hell is this game? I never played this game. I've never even heard of this game. Good thing I got it. This is because I never would have played it otherwise.
Yeah, and I'm thinking the same thing. Like, Stick It to the Man.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if you throw that up against Grown Home's going to win instantly. I loved Stick It to the Man.
Yeah. I still haven't played that.
It's so good. You should totally play that. I don't know. I'm curious to see how it goes. Again, to me, it just feels like you've just went, okay, instead of 15 executives at Sony picking games for me. Now it's 150,000 people on their PS4s. So it's really still somebody picking the game for me. If they were like, you can pick one of these 3 to have for free, that's an entirely different option, and that'll never happen. But...
I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think the thing that is kind of nice, I do like the consolation prize is that they get a discount. The other 2 games are going to be like on sale.
Yeah.
So I think like Armello, even though it never would have gotten, it never would have won this voting, but nobody would have been talking about it otherwise had it not been on that voting chart.
And that's a good point, because this is a game that comes out and nobody's heard of it. I mean, I didn't even bother to really look at it, which again goes to show the uninformed people voting. I went and voted for Grown Home without even watching the trailer for it. But I guess that's my issue. Is I don't like people voting because people vote like me, which is completely uninformed and just like, screw it. This is the one I've heard of before. I'm going with it. But I think looking at this now, that game has an infinitely better chance of being successful because of this. And it's almost, again, Sony trying to help out some indie devs, because now we're providing another platform for your game to get huge exposure before anything comes out with it. And we show it to people. People have to be interested because people know there's a chance that they could be getting this that they wouldn't have had otherwise. So it's just I think it's kind of a cool push just to now, instead of only pushing maybe 1 indie game this month to really get it put out there, we can push 3.
Yeah, it's like getting a free month-long marketing push at the very least.
Yeah, if nothing else.
Yeah.
But what did you vote for?
Grown Home.
Good call. Okay.
Clearly.
Yeah, exactly. Who cares about the
I'm not going to say I was interested in the other games, but I really want Grown Home.
Exactly.
I probably would have brought. Even with the worst part is I probably would have bought Grown Home otherwise.
Yeah, I probably would have bought it too. Especially after playing Child of Light and a couple of the other smaller Ubisoft games. They're just too good. Mm-hmm. So moving on here. Resident Evil 2, they announced a remake is happening, so people have been going all kinds of crazy for this for the past while.
We do it!
Exactly, yes, we do it. So they announced that they have done literally nothing on it yet, but that it is happening.
Yep.
In one of what I think is the coolest videos ever, which is just a dude genuinely super pumped that something is happening.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch the video, it's literally just this guy being like, holy crap, you guys, they're letting us do this. They're letting us do this right now. I'm gonna go start on this today. Like, I get to do this. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, just that's really cool. I like seeing developers really excited about stuff.
I thought it was super cool because it kind of reminded me of, like, the part I like about Kickstarters.
Yeah.
The part I like about Kickstarter videos when they're, like, people just excited about talking about the game, without the part I don't like about Kickstarters where people asking for money. So it's just like you're saying, it's just a guy, like, it's kind of like, think of like the, Castlevania video. Like, at the end of the Castlevania video, he just like, we're making it. And that was it. Like, that'd be, oh my God, that was awesome. But not like, oh, we need money. We have people. It's like, no. It's like, no, F that.
If you get us this much, we'll make it. You get us this much, we'll make the other half.
yeah, exactly. It's instead, it's just somebody being really passionate and like just telling, like, they're so excited just to tell people that this happened. Like, this literally had just happened. He had tweeted out like a picture of his design doc like last month, like as he was working on it. He's like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go pitch this to my executive guys," and like he hadn't pitched it yet. And then he actually had pitched it, and they said okay. And like as soon as they had said okay, he's like going to do it. I think that's really crazy about this. This is actually gonna be by the main Resident Evil team. Like, this is not a side project. This is like a full-on Resident Evil title.
Well, and that's the cool thing that I like about the way that Resident Evil does the remakes, remasters, whatever, is the majority of them, and there's been a couple that aren't, they just go like ground up again. When you look at like what they did for the GameCube with the first Resident Evil, what they're doing with Resident Evil 0, I believe they're doing the same thing.
They did that. That was like all GameCube. That also came out on GameCube era, but yeah, it was like.
But Resident Evil 0 is weird right now, though.
Yeah, well, that's not like a ground up thing. That's like they're just porting. They're doing the remake thing. They're porting over the GameCube version, and that one's really weird because that was actually like a game that was supposed to come out on PS1 and Dreamcast or something like that, but was canceled, and then they sort of like refurbished it. Anyway, yeah.
And it is cool that the mainline Resident Evil team doing it. I'm just curious about where's Resident Evil 7 at. It's been what, 3 or 4 years since Resident Evil.
Do you
6?
care though?
I do, to a point.
Do you care for a sequel of Resident Evil 6? Like, really?
No, but I care for another good Resident Evil game, which this is pretty much guaranteed to be because Resident Evil 2, admittedly haven't played it. I've heard it's fantastic, so it'll be a new Resident Evil game to me, but I want a new good Resident Evil game.
Well, Revelations 2 just came out, and that's like $20. Why don't you go get that?
Yeah, because I haven't thought about that lately.
That was supposed to be really good.
Yeah, I need to get that too, and I really like the first Revelations, but I don't know. I like Resident Evil, and I want there to be a 7 just because they do all these like weird little side things, and I don't know. I don't really have an issue with that. It's just it feels slightly different than being like this is Resident Evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is Resident Evil 7. This is Resident Evil Revelations, the 3rd chapter of Jill Valentine's
those side projects are better than like
Operation
the mainline
Raccoon
titles.
City.
Okay, not that one, but that was a misstep.
Just a little bit. Oh, that game was bad.
But I mean, the side project ones are usually the cooler ones too. Because think about like those the PS2, the Outbreak ones, like those would be cool now. Those 4-player online ones where you're like somebody could actually turn to a zombie and like kill the rest of their partners. Yeah.
I don't know. There's cool Resident Evil stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of stuff with zombies here. This is kind of a weird one. Techland is kind of not doing anything right now from the sound of it. I know they just put out I think there was a Dying Light expansion pack that either just came out or is about to come out, so they must have finished that up. But just the way they're talking right now, it sounds like they don't have anything to do. They sound a little bored.
Yeah.
So they came out and said, oh yeah, Dying Light 2. We're not going to talk about that yet, but the reason for it is we've got these awesome ideas that we need to make sure we can actually do before we go forward with this.
Yeah, like they haven't. Basically, what he said was something along the lines of like, we have these awesome ideas that we aren't even sure are going to be able to done on PS4 or Xbox One, and we aren't sure if these ideas are even good enough, are even like good ideas. Like we haven't going to have a good idea, but when you actually play it, it turns out to be not so great. But basically, all he's describing is like just prototyping. Like that's normal prototyping. Yeah. That's not anything exciting. He's announced that they haven't even started prototyping on literally anything.
Yeah,
so.
We had a board meeting yesterday, and Dying Light 2 was mentioned.
Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, it's because the first one sold a shit ton. I think that was pretty much it.
Yeah. But what's really funny about this is, so we talked about Dead Island devs Jaeger being dropped off the project a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Another guy from Techland came out and said, if Deep Silver came up to us, we'd do it. We'd do Dead Island 2.
I gotta imagine there's some bad blood there. I can't. That's
what I'm thinking.
There's a reason they didn't do any of their Dead Island games. I don't know what it is. There's a reason they didn't do Dying Light with those guys. I think the guy's just blowing smoke up their ass.
I don't know. It's just really funny that in the same week, one guy's like, "Oh yeah, we're thinking about Dying Light 2," and the other guy's like, "Well, we'd love to do Dead Island 2." And in actuality, these two games are very, very similar.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's like we haven't decided our next multi-million-dollar project.
Zombie-based open-world game.
Yeah.
It's for sure going to be one of these two.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter. I mean, we're probably going to do the same thing.
Oh god, that's terrible. But it's true. But yeah, so that was just kind of one of those like little funny things that came out this week. And a little different news. So Star Wars Battlefront, Peter Moore, the guy from EA, he came out and said there will be no campaign mode in Battlefront. Mm-hmm. And what kind of bothered me is the quote that he used, which is that data shows people don't want those, and people don't play those.
They don't.
But I do.
I know you do, but you're not a teenager playing Battlefield 4 for like 40 hours a week.
That's true, but I'm a 20-something-year-old who is playing Battlefield 4 for 5 to 10 hours.
They don't care about. I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, this is just a really good business decision, in my opinion, because if you think about the people who, where does Battlefield get its money? Battlefield 4 right now costs $15. They're not getting money from selling Battlefield 4. What they're getting money for is the 30 expansion packs that also cost $15. And who's going to buy those? Who's going to buy those, Brad?
But see, okay, here to me, Battlefield 4, fine, you can get away with that. Call of Duty, I feel like, could even get away with that. This is Star Wars. Like, you have a campaign mode already. Just freaking put a 3-minute cutscene in front of the damn thing and go, oh yeah, remember that scene in Return of the Jedi where you need to go to Endor to stop the second Death Star from being completed? Here you go. Boom.
Oh, so you don't even care that there's like an actual single. You wouldn't care for like multiplayer maps as long as there's like some poorly strung together story.
That's what they did in the other Battlefronts. There's like a scene. There's a screen of text, and that's all I want is just my damn screen of text in between them, and just put them in chronological order.
I think you actually probably will get that, except nobody's willing to call that a campaign.
See, that's fine. I just want you start out. Here you are. You're on Naboo, and it's like, well, we could skip the prequels. Let's start out in. Let's start out like in the other one. You're like, okay, you're on Hoth. Okay, after Hoth, you go here, and you go through, and you play them chronologically, and there's just a screen of text in between each one. That's what I want. And
I mean, I think you might be getting that. I think what they were saying is they're not getting a Battlefield 4 campaign. I think you do get that.
That's probably true, but I'd like that too. I don't know. I want like something.
Would you want? I mean, you'll probably get that. I mean, would you be disappointed in the fact they're not having a Battlefield 4 campaign or a Call of Duty campaign?
No. Would I like that? Yes, but I played through all of Unreal Tournament 3 single player, which is literally less story than that.
That's probably what it is. I think that's probably what it is.
But see, that's still a campaign mode. Like,
man, we gotta look this up because I don't. Because aren't they doing something like that though?
I don't know. Like, it was just a throwaway quote by Peter Moore, and
you're mad about it, but you're not really mad about it.
I'm irritated if it means I can only do like I just want some progression. I like progression. I don't even like at least make a checklist. Like you won a match on Endor, you won a match on Hoth, you won a.
Oh, you'll get plenty of those. You'll get plenty of trophies and stupid shit to upload.
I just need some kind of progress, and I don't know. I like single player. I like playing games by myself. People can't ruin games if they're not there.
Well, yeah, but it's like playing Rocket League by yourself. Like you're never gonna play Rocket League by yourself.
I played through the season twice.
Yuck.
Which is like 20 to 30
That's
games.
Disgusting. That's so gross. Why would you do that?
Because then I know what's going to happen. I can control what's going to happen. I'm not getting stuck with somebody who's shit on my team.
But you're you're in the minority.
Oh, I'm totally in the minority. Sure. I just don't like being in the minority, so I'm going to complain about it.
All right, that's fine.
All right. Anyway.
It's not for you.
We're recording this on Sunday afternoon, or Sunday evening, I guess. But D23, which is Disney's big Comic-Con-esque event that they've been holding somewhere in the world that I wasn't able to look up because of laziness.
Why did you say that? I have no idea what it is either.
In my mind,
it's not said that.
I could have probably, but I didn't. So there we go. But at D23, they did a big Disney interactive panel today where they talked about all the upcoming Disney games, and by that they mean Star Wars, Kingdom Hearts, and Disney Infinity.
Yep.
But a few kind of small little pieces of information, nothing huge really, I don't think came out. But Kingdom Hearts 3 announced they're going to have a Big Hero 6 world.
Yes. That was pretty much it.
And that was it. So you are like the biggest Kingdom Hearts fan. Are you excited about that or not?
Oh, yeah, that was freaking... I thought, okay, announcement, not cool. The presentation, terrible. Like, literally all they did was show a piece of concept art. There actually was some other minor news. One of the other minor news is each Keyblade is going to have its own transformation. So, in the other games, a Keyblade was just basically a cool-looking thing. It had different stats. But in this one, like, every Keyblade is going to have its own limit break, where it changes into a different sort of weapon. Some of the ones they showed before were, like, pistols. So you got, like, pistol Keyblades. So every Keyblade is going to have like a unique transformation like that. But yeah, they also announced the Big Hero 6, which I actually really liked. I like that movie, and it was funny today. I was actually thinking, I was like, oh, what kind of Kingdom Hearts worlds? And that one is cool, and I think perfectly fits the Kingdom Hearts world because it's a unique setting. It's San Fran, Tokyo, which is like a weird mix between Tokyo and San Francisco. So which is kind of neat and kind of goes thematically with Kingdom Hearts, which is sort of like an East meets West game to begin with. You know, it's like SquareSoft, which is like a largely Japanese company, meets Disney, which is largely an American company. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool, and that makes sense. The movie's a lot of fun, so they could probably set up a lot of cool action pieces. The really interesting news is a spoiler for Big Hero 6. Hero 6. Okay. If you have not seen Big Hero 6, this is a spoiler. Okay, just skip ahead a few minutes. I don't know, 3 minutes, let's say.
Ready, go!
Yeah. Okay, so in the end of Big Hero 6, Baymax, the machine character, gets left behind in this weird alternate dimension. And his memory, though, like whatever his memory bank is left safe, and his memory chip is taken back and it's safe, but his body is still left in this like weird portal zone. So Kingdom Hearts, the idea for this level of Kingdom Hearts is actually going to be after that sequence, after the movie's over, his mechanical body gets taken over by darkness in that weird portal world. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, that's a really unique way to do that. And I'm trying to remember back to Kingdom Hearts. Were there any other ones that tied in like that specifically to a movie?
No, that's the one thing that's kind of what I get to next is that the Kingdom Hearts Disney storylines are not good. They're not like when you go to like a certain world, it's always just like here's the characters. There's a really minor conflict. Somebody's being possessed by darkness, and then that's pretty much it. But the thing that's kind of cool about this one is like now they're actually thinking about the Disney World stories, like the individual stories, like the point where like they're actually getting the other directors involved. This might be a case of too many cooks in the kitchen though, so we'll see. But I thought that was actually a really weak aspect of the Kingdom Hearts series, and I think it's really cool that they're like, you know what, we actually do need to think of these Disney stories now that they're worth so much money, and we can't really fuck around with Kingdom Hearts anymore because they're making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So now they're actually like thinking about like really directly tying them into the movies instead of just letting, you know, like I said before, just like really generic storylines. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's also a confirmation. This is like really, but people don't realize like this is a confirmation that Marvel will be in Kingdom Hearts, and at least in some form. I mean, this is a Marvel. This is Marvel.
It is Marvel, and it's comic book based, but that's no, because there's no continuity between that and like MCU.
No, but I would say it opens the door.
No more than it already was. They own it. I don't know. Like they own this. That's like saying, oh, just because I can't think of another example, isn't there something else?
No, but I'm saying like for the first time though, like I think that now it's a lot more likely that we're going to see more Marvel characters though, because they're saying like yes, we can actually put. I'm just saying like before this point where I was saying like maybe they will not put in Marvel stuff at all.
But think about the world of Big Hero 6 and compare that to like the MCU Avengers world. Those are two like starkly different things. Because one is just it's New York with people with powers, and the other is it's San Fran, Tokyo, like you were talking about, a unique setting. They have all these different things that fit there. Whereas the other one is just movie taking place on Earth. Yeah,
I guess that's true. I'm just now I'm like I think I'm just got to get over the fact that Star Wars is going to be in it soon enough.
I don't want Star Wars and Kingdom Hearts.
It's going to be in there.
I love Star Wars.
Although I do want like a Darth Vader fight. Like I would be okay with a Darth Vader fight.
Not just like that one scene taken out of context with no explanation.
But they do that in the Kingdom Hearts game. Like they have secret boss battles. Like you fight like in Birth by Sleep, you fight the Pinocchio whale. Like it's a dumb fight, but it's kind of cool because you fight like Monstro. It's like okay, I could see like fighting Darth Vader in like some random.
Again, Pinocchio's already in that. You know what I mean? Pinocchio's in that universe, whereas Darth Vader isn't. I don't know. I just feel like those things are way too heavy of a contrast from the rest of Disney properties to really fit in there well.
Yeah, I'd be kind of disappointed too if Star Wars showed up because I feel like Kingdom Hearts is an opportunity to show Disney worlds that would not otherwise get a game. There's going to be so many damn Star Wars games. There already is so many damn Star Wars games.
I missed the 3 Star Wars games a year, the good old days.
That was not the good old days.
That was so good. I bought every single one of them.
That's gross.
So last kind of parts with Kingdom Hearts here is they brought out Disney Infinity with this.
I'm so mad. I'm not mad. I'm just like, this is like my worst fear incarnate.
That your favorite game ever now has little toys that you have to buy?
No, because of what this could foresee in the future of Kingdom Hearts 3. Okay, my worst fear is Kingdom Hearts 3 is like, if you have the Disney Infinity Portal and you put in the Mickey Mouse, like an amiibo thing.
Yep.
They're gonna do it. I can't imagine why they're gonna do it. So the announcement related from Kingdom Hearts to Disney Infinity is that if you buy every single Disney Infinity 3.0 character, which I gotta imagine is a few $100s worth of merchandise.
Well, how much do those cost? Like, I think they gotta be like $10-15 a pop.
Yeah, they're like $10-15. Yeah, so I don't know how many they announced. Like 20, 30. I don't know.
I literally have no clue.
It's a lot though. It's a few $100s. Well, anyway, your reward in the previous games, in the first game was a lightsaber, and the second one was Luke's land speeder, and in this one it's going to be a keyblade. Okay.
But how is that any different than like pre-order DLC or a pre-order exclusive keyblade?
I'm just mad that like anything Kingdom Hearts has touched Disney Infinity, because if Kingdom Hearts touched Disney Infinity, that means Disney Infinity is going to touch back in some stupid ass way, and I'll bet you, I'm sure it's going to be an amiibo thing where Here's a very clear example. If you bought the Disney Infinity game and the Mickey statue, if you put it on your Portal in Kingdom Hearts 3, you'll get an exclusive Keyblade and maybe an exclusive minigame.
But do you want that exclusive minigame and Keyblade anyway?
Yes, I do. I want all that stuff. I know this normally doesn't bug me, but
it's Kingdom Hearts, so it's like your one game that like, no, I need every single piece of this game.
Yeah, don't touch my Kingdom Hearts. See, Arkham Asylum though is like I guess Arkham Asylum has extra costumes and shit too, so I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't know, I am mad about it.
It's the whole Amiibo Disney Infinity thing, I think just slowly adds another layer to pre-order DLC, because now it's got, you've got pre-order DLC levels, and you've got Amiibo costumes, and eventually, I swear you're going to end up just paying like $5 for a game and adding like $400 in add-ons to actually unlock. I don't know. It's just...
Oh, yeah.
It's all that stuff adding on, where it's just little thing after little thing that you actually need to get to complete the experience. I just want to be able, like you said, I want to be able to buy Kingdom Hearts 3 and have everything there.
Exactly, and I don't know, for whatever reason I feel like, especially with Kingdom Hearts 3, I don't know, I feel like, because I think Arkham Asylum, I think the Arkham games like started out with that sort of pre-order DLC stuff with like getting extra costumes and stuff, so it's always been a part of the series. But this is like the 9th game or whatever in the series. Like, don't start now.
Yeah.
There's gonna be so much pre-order bullshit with that. I'll get it all though, because I'm gonna be pre-ordering. I already pre-ordered it.
Of course you did. This game doesn't even have a date yet, does it?
I pre-ordered it last year. Like
the freaking like train scene that they show, the pre-rendered train game.
Yeah. Something.
That was enough. Just go. Oh yeah, I need this.
The fact that it existed was enough for me to pre-order it.
In my mind, I'm just picturing you in like 5 years, like one of those people who has the Duke Nukem Forever receipt from GameStop, like 16 years after the fact.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I pre-ordered this in 2002.
This game actually has to come out because there's like millions of dollars sitting on it currently. I think that is another weird thing. Disney is sort of like really involved with Kingdom Hearts now, which has me
also a little skeptical.
Yeah, that's kind of weird that like they keep showing American guys talking about Kingdom Hearts.
Moving on to our last thing, because this is Disney, we mentioned Star Wars a second ago. There's some new Star Wars stuff that came out. Nothing super crazy, except for the fact that they announced a new PS4 model that is really, really cool looking, with Darth Vader like all sprawled out on the top of it. It looked really cool. I really want one like really, really bad.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, but it's not worth $400.
No, I would never buy it because I have one sitting right there. But it looks really pretty, and they announced a new DualShock 4 that has all these really cool like red and black buttons, and it looks really cool.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't know. I think that's entirely subjective if it looks cool or not. I think it looks okay. I think the PS4 looks pretty cool with the Darth Vader on it. Except it's weird, like the Darth Vader's on top of it, but then there's like Star Wars is written in little font like all over it. It's like I know it's Star Wars. Just give me something like classy. I don't know.
Who's this black masked character on your PlayStation? What franchise is that from?
Thank God it has Star Wars right now 100 times. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been totally
That's
sure.
That's the guy from the Avengers, right?
Soon.
Oh, God, anyway, more important / way cooler is that they announced a bunch of old, mostly PS2 with one a little bit older one. Games are coming to PS4 with enhanced graphics and trophy support, which is Star Wars Bounty Hunter, Star Wars Racer Revenge, Star Wars Jedi Starfighter, and Super Star Wars.
This is so bad.
This is so awesome.
No, you know why? This is bad for like a totally different reason.
Why?
Okay, besides the fact these games aren't that great to begin with. To be clear, which of these games were you like, oh my God, I can't believe it's that game?
Bounty Hunter. I love the hell out of the game. It is probably...
When you were 12.
It is probably shit now, but oh my God. I beat that game like 4 times. That game was so much fun.
You're so excited to play as Jango Fett? You can't wait.
Well, if you just pretend it's Boba Fett, the whole game changes.
I think that was like how everybody played that game.
Like, look at me, I'm Boba Fett in his silver armor.
They should have had that. I assume there's a Boba Fett costume in that game, but that should have been like unlocked like immediately the second you start that game. Do you want to play as Jango Fett or this guy who looks a lot like Boba Fett?
But it's not Boba Fett. Yeah, let's be clear. Yeah. No, but like, and again, and these games probably are really shitty. But in my mind, this is like, you were talking about fake nostalgia before. I'm not going to lie, when PS2, GameCube era, and even late PlayStation era, I bought every single game that said Star Wars on the cover.
That's just
without exception. If it said Star Wars, I owned it. Like, I owned the stupid Star Wars Episode 1 PlayStation 1 game that was a pile of shit. Star Wars
I should play that, yeah.
Where, your lightsaber is controlled with the right analog stick for the hell of it. Like,
oh, gross.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody thought, that sounded like a good idea in like 2001. Like, oh, this is kind of cool. But yeah. You know what though? Okay, to be fair, the reason this news makes me go, ugh. Actually, I do really want to play Super Star Wars. I like those games.
Those games
anyway,
those are classic games.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. Like, a Super Nintendo game on PlayStation consoles? That's weird. Anyway, which actually made me think that maybe they could put Rogue Squadron on. Like, what's to stop them from putting N64 games on there?
See, and that was my thing with this, is they picked... These are not the foremost iconic Star Wars games by any means. Super Star Wars is up there for sure. Super Star Wars is genuine classic, but Bounty Hunter, Racer Revenge, and Jedi Starfighter are not. When you've got things like Jedi Outcast, Shadows of the Empire... There's tons of other awesome Star Wars games that are sitting out there that aren't these, so maybe those are coming too. They just don't want to give them away for free.
Yeah, actually the really, really bad news, I was like, yeah, that's just true. Actually, the thing that makes me really nervous about this is like, man, I can't wait till PS1 and PS2 classics come to PS4. This pretty much confirmed that they're never going to do that. I think what's going to happen is we're going to get these, where it's like these sort of like fake enhanced ports that are like really sort of minor things like this, like they just add trophy support or something like that, and now it's released as like the PS4 version instead of like
or like the Final Fantasy VII one that they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and like this will happen for a handful of games, but just not the huge library that they already have on there. Like, we're just never going to see that entire library put on PS4 without this sort of like weird filtering of is it worth putting it, hiring a guy to put it in trophy support.
Oh, as opposed to like the PS3 where it's just like I can go in right now and buy hundreds of old PS1, PS2 games.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're going to have to wait for whatever stupid enhanced port.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And that's just a bummer. Yeah, and that's what kind of makes me go, because these aren't even like HD releases. Like, they're like enhanced graphics, but they weren't really specific about that. I think it's just like the PC version.
Yeah.
So it's not something like the Kingdom Hearts collection where they like redid a lot of the music, they added a bunch of extra stuff, they did a lot of this, they did a lot of that. It's kind of just like a half-assed port. For games, I mean, that'd be kind of fun to play, but it's just like, well, we're not going to see that for more obscure games. Like, you're not going to see a really cool Mr. Mosquito game with trophy support.
Oh, you're not. Is that even on the PSN library right now?
I don't know, actually. As soon as I said that out loud, I was like, shit, I wonder if that's on there. I want to play that.
That might even be too obscure just to have a PS3 thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that'll definitely never show up.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'm excited. These are the games that I grew up with that I freaking loved, so I'm excited.
But you'd rather have like Rogue Squadron and stuff, though.
Yeah, I mean, I would much rather have Rogue Squadron, Jedi Outcast, Shadows of the Empire.
KOTOR.
There's a list of probably 10 other ones. The only one of these I would put in like my top 5 or 10 would maybe be Bounty Hunter, just because in my mind I remember really loving that game. But
yeah,
I'm so excited. Stop trying to get me unexcited about this.
I'm not trying to make you unexcited. I'm just unexcited about it, and whether or not you feel unexcited with me is entirely your choice.
Good point. So the last thing, also Star Wars related, this is a little bit different. There is a Star Wars game that has been in development for, I don't know, I feel like they originally announced this, like a year and a half ago?
I don't even know if it's ever actually been announced.
I feel like somebody said that they were working on it.
Yeah, but I'm saying like officially, I mean, we don't even have a title for it.
Yeah. Visceral, the guys who did Dead Space, have been working on a Star Wars project, quote unquote, for like a year and a half now. And
2 years.
Is it 2 years now?
Yeah.
Man.
Like more than 2 years.
And every single time there's a press conference, because like it was E3. If you go back and listen to like episode 14 or 15 are our best games of E3 that we're looking forward to. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see what this visceral Star Wars is going to look like. Didn't show up. EA had a press conference at Gamescom. Didn't show up. Here we are at D3. That's literally just Star Wars and Kingdom Hearts. Didn't show up.
I think they just don't want to cannibalize potential Battlefront sales. I think that might be all it is.
I feel like giving like an initial tease and saying 2016 or early 2017, I don't feel like that's going to cannibalize sales of a game for this November.
I think it will cannibalize pre-orders, because if I'm a kid, because like we're not their market. If I'm a 60-year-old kid, I can spend $60 on one game.
That's true.
And then don't make me choose between Battlefront. Actually, I feel like this game, I don't even know if it's like too early to show. I think this game might actually be like too awesome that it probably looks better than Battlefront, because Battlefront is a multiplayer only game. Well, I know there's a lot of people out there who crave like a single player I want to be in Star Wars game.
That's
and
true.
I'm thinking that, yeah, like right now, if you had $60, what would you buy?
That's true, I guess, and again, kills your close to launch pre-orders for Battlefront. It kills your
Yeah.
upfront pre-orders of this, knowing Battlefront's just a little bit around the corner. I guess that's true.
Yeah, I'll bet, like, I'm sure that whenever, when's that PSX is December, right?
Yeah, I think PSX is December.
So it's going to come out like right after Battlefront comes out. That I'm sure that's when they're going to announce it.
I guess that makes sense. Like, don't announce something too close to the release of the other thing.
Yeah, especially if it's like the same franchise
Yeah, I guess
by
that's
the
true.
same developers.
I guess that's publishers, not developers. There's
It's true.
DICE isn't doing anything with this one as far as we know. Well, considering all we know is that it's a thing, quote unquote.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta imagine Dice is helping a little bit. If Dice is like, Dice is like, we got to go in the archives and stuff. Like, I gotta imagine Visceral's using some of that stuff as well.
Yeah, that's probably true.
We literally know nothing about this game. I think everybody's just like, everybody saw Star Wars 1313.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, where that game? That game was awesome, and they're just trying to keep really quiet in case it doesn't happen.
Just in case we can't pull something off with this, let's just not say anything.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that will wrap up this episode of the Darksliders podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Darksliders_pod. Subscribe on YouTube, all those other things. Send some comments or whatever. We'd love to hear your thoughts about the episode or whatever's going on. That's apparently hilarious.
Well, yeah, he's just like da 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 da,
etc. Do those things that you're supposed to do to make us feel like you're listening to us.
Kinda. Our average view time does not make us feel good. Maybe somebody gets. I wonder if anybody's actually gotten to the end of this podcast.
That's a good point.
I'm really curious.
If you get to the end of this, just send us like a comment or a message that just says "end."
Yeah.
On the off chance,
I feel like we get like one
person...
guy who's like, I listen to the end of every of your podcasts. I know your Twitter handle by heart. It's like, oh, thank you, guy.
Yeah.
Nobody else though.
And it's one of those like, there's like 2 or 3 people who talk to us on Twitter every now and then, and it's just gonna be those 2 or 3 people who send us stuff all the time. We're gonna be like, yes, we've got those same 2 or 3 people who are awesome who listen to us.
But what about our other tens of viewers?
Literally 10.
Tens of viewers. Oh my gosh, you guys, you have no idea how many views we don't get.
Oh, this will be a fun discussion if we're going to keep this in the podcast or not. Anyway,
Oh,
thanks
we're
for
definitely
listening.
keeping it in. All right, see ya.